Hi everyone, this is Arvind from MindMajix, and today I welcome you all to this amazing session on AWS Architect Interview questions. So guys, you must be knowing that AWS, which is Amazon Web Services, is a very popular and widely used cloud platform. And if you talk about Gartner research, so as per Gartner research, AWS has been the leader in providing the cloud services to its customers. So clearly, AWS is the winner among other cloud platforms such as Azure and GCP and other clouds. And if you also talk about the AWS Architect, so it is one of the highest paying jobs in the IT market in the current scenario. So that's why we decided to come up with this video. And in this video, we will be covering roughly around 30 questions. So this is the whole agenda for this video. So without any further delay, let's get started with our first question. So the first question over here is, how terminating and stopping an instance are different processes. Instance performs a regular shutdown when it is stopped. It then performs transactions. As the entire EBS volumes remain present, it is possible to start the instance anytime again when you want. The best thing is when the instance remains in the stopped state, users don't need to pay for that particular time. Upon termination, the instance performs a regular shutdown. After this, the Amazon EBS volumes start deleting. You can stop them from deleting simply by setting the delete on termination to false. Because the instance gets deleted, it is not possible to run it again in the future. So this is the difference between termination and stopping of an instance. The next question is, at what value the instance's tenancy attribute is to be set for running it on a single tenant hardware. So it should be set to the dedicated instance for smoothly running it on the single tenant hardware. Other values are not valid for this particular operation. The next question is, when there is a need to acquire the costs with an EIP. So guys, basically EIP stands for Elastic Internet Protocol Address. Costs are acquired with an EIP when the same is associated and allocated with a stopped instance. In case only one Elastic IP is there with the instance you are running, and you will not be charged for it. However, in the case IP is attached to a stopped instance or doesn't attach to any instance, you need to pay for it. The next question is, what is the difference between an on-demand instance and a spot instance? Spot instance is similar to bidding, and the price of bidding is known as the spot price. Both spot and on-demand instances are pricing models. In both of them, there is no commitment to the exact time from the user end. Without upfront payment, spot instance can be used, while the same is not possible in case of an on-demand instance. It needs to be purchased first, and the price is higher than the spot instance. The next question is, name the instance types for which the multi-availability zone deployments are available. The multi-availability zones deployments are simply available for all the instances irrespective of their types and use. The next question is, when instances are launched in the cluster placement group, what are the network performance parameters that can be expected? Actually, it depends largely on the type of instance as well as on the specification of network performance. In case they are started in the placement group, you can expect the parameters such as 20 Gbps in case of full duplex or when in multi-flow, up to 10 Gbps in case of a single flow, and outside the group, the traffic is limited to 5 Gbps. The next question is, which instance can be used for deploying a 4-node cluster of Hadoop in Amazon Web Services? So it is possible to use i2.large or c4.8x large instance for this. However, c.4bx needs better configuration on the PC. At some stages, you can simply launch the EMR or the Elastic MapReduce for the automatic configuration of the server. Data can be put into S3 and EMR, and it is able to pick it from there. So it will load your data in S3 again after the processing is over. The next question is, what do you know about an AMI? So AMI is generally considered as the template for virtual machines. While starting an instance, it is possible to select the pre-baked AMIs that AMI commonly has in them. However, not all AMIs are available to use free of cost. It is also possible to have a customized AMI, and the most common reason to use the same is nothing but the saving the space on AWS. So this is done in case a group of software is not required, and AMI can simply be customized in that situation. The next question is, name the various parameters that you should consider while selecting the availability zone. So for this, there are various parameters that should be kept in mind, and the most prominent are performance, pricing, latency, as well as response time. The next question is, what do you know about the private and the public addresses? So the private addresses are directly correlated with the instance, and they are sent back to the EC2 only in case it is terminated or stopped. On the other hand, the public address is correlated in a similar manner with the instance until it is terminated or stopped. It is possible to replace the public address with the elastic IP. This is done when a user wants it to stay with the instance as per the requirement. The next question is it possible to run multiple websites on the EC2 server with one elastic IP address? So the answer to this question is no, it is not possible. We need more than one elastic IP in such cases. The next question is, name the practices that are available when it comes to securing the Amazon EC2. So this can be done through several practices. A review of the protocols in the security group is to be monitored regularly, and it is to be ensured that the principle of least is applicable over there. The next practice is using access management and AWS identity for controlling and securing access. Access is to be restricted to hosts and networks that are trusted. In addition to this, only those permissions are opened which are required and not any other. It would also be good to disable password-based logins for those instances. The next question is, what are the states available in processor state control? So basically it contains two states. The first one is P state. So it has different levels starting from P0 to P15. P0 represents the highest frequency, whereas P15 represents the lowest frequency. And the second state is C state. So its levels are from C0 to C6, where C6 is the strongest state for the processor. It is possible to customize these states in a few EC2 instances, which enable users to customize the processor as per the need. The next question is, name the approach that restricts the access of third-party software in storage service to S3 bucket named company backup. So there is a policy named custom IAM user policy that limits the S3 API in the bucket. So the next question over here is it possible to use S3 with EC2 instances? If yes, how? So the answer is yes, it is possible if the instances are having root devices and are supported by the instance storage. Amazon uses one of the very reliable, scalable, fast, as well as inexpensive networks for hosting all their websites. With the help of S3, it is possible for the developers to get access to the same network. There are tools available in AMIs that users can consider when it comes to executing systems in EC2. The files can simply be moved between EC2 and S3. The next question is it possible to speed up the data transfer in Snowball? If yes, how? So the answer is yes, it is possible. There are certain methods that are used for this purpose. First, simply copy different hosts to the same Snowball. Another method is by creating a group of smaller files. This is helpful as it cuts down the encryption issues. Data transfer can also be enhanced by simply copying operations again and again at the same time, provided the workstation is capable to bear the load. The next question is, name the method that you will use for moving the data to a very long distance. Amazon Transfer Acceleration is a good option for this purpose. There are other options such as Snowball, but the same doesn't support data transfer over a very long distance, such as among continents. Amazon Transfer Acceleration is the best option because It simply throttles the data with the help of network channels that are optimized and assure very fast data transfer speed. The next question is, what will happen if you launch the instances in Amazon Virtual Private Cloud or VPC? So this is a common approach that is considered when it comes to launching the EC2 instances. Each instance will be having a default IP address if the instances are launched in the Amazon VPC. So this approach is also considered when you need connect cloud resources with the data centers. The next question is it possible to establish a connection between Amazon Cloud and corporate data center? If yes, how? So the answer is yes, this is very much possible. For this, first, a virtual private network or a VPN is to be established between virtual private cloud and the organization's network. After this, the connection can simply be created and data can be accessed reliably. The next question is, why is it not possible to change or modify the private IP address of an EC2 instance when it is running? So this is because the private IP remains with the instance permanently or through the life cycle. Thus, it cannot be changed or modified. However, it is possible to change the secondary private addresses. The next question is, why are subnets required to be created? So they are needed to utilize the network with a large number of hosts in a reliable manner. Of course, it's a daunting task to manage them all. By dividing the network into smaller subnets, it can be made simpler and the chances of errors or data loss can be eliminated up to an excellent extent. The next question is it possible to attach multiple subnets to a routing table? So the answer is yes, it is possible. They are generally considered when it comes to routing the network packets. Actually, when a subnet has several route tables, it can create confusion about the destination of these packets. It is because of no other reason than this, there should be only one route table in a subnet. The route table can have unlimited records and therefore it is possible to attach multiple subnets to a routing table. The next question is, what happens if AWS Direct Connect fails to perform its function? So it is recommended to back up the Direct Connect as in case of a power failure, you can lose everything. Enabling BFD, that is bidirectional forwarding detection, can avoid these issues. In case no backup is there, VPC traffic would be dropped and you need to start everything from the initial point again. The next question is, what will happen if the content is absent in CloudFront and a request is made? So CloudFront sent the content from the primary server directly to the cache memory of the edge location. As it is a content delivery system, it tries to cut down the latency, and that is why it will happen. If the operation is performed for the second time, the data would directly be served from the cache location. The next question is it possible to use direct connect for transferring the objects from the data centers? So the answer is yes, CloudFront simply supports custom origins and thus this task can be performed. However, you need to pay for it depending on the data transfer rates. The next question is, when there is a need to consider provisional IOPS other than standard RDS storage in AWS. So in case you have hosts that are batch oriented, there is a need for the same. The reason is provisional IOPs are known to provide faster IO rates. However, they are a bit expensive when compared to other options. Hosts with batch processing don't need manual intervention from the users. It is because of this reason provisional IOPs are preferred. The next question is, compare RDS, Redshift, and DynamoDB. So RDS is basically a database management service that is considered for relational databases. It is useful for upgrading and patching data automatically. However, it works for structured data only. On the other side, Redshift is used in data analysis. It is basically a data warehouse service. When it comes to DynamoDB, it is considered when there is a need to deal with unstructured data. RDS is quick as compared to both Redshift and DynamoDB. All of them are powerful enough to perform their tasks without errors. The next question is it possible to run multiple DB for Amazon RDS free of cost? So the answer is yes, it is possible. However, there is a strict upper limit of 750 hours of usage, post which everything will be billed as per the RDS prices. In case you exceed the limit, you will be charged only for the extra hours beyond 750. The next question is, name the services which can be used for collecting and processing e-commerce data. So Amazon Redshift and Amazon DynamoDB are the best options over here. Generally, data from e-commerce websites are unstructured manner. As both of them are useful for unstructured data, we can use either one of them. The next question is, what is the significance of connection draining? So there are certain stages when the traffic needs to be re-verified for the bugs, unwanted files that raise security concerns. So connection draining helps in rerouting the traffic that comes from the instances and which is in a queue to be updated. So guys, with this, we have come to the end of this session on AWS Architect interview questions. I hope you guys have enjoyed this session. If at all you have any queries related to this session, then you can write them in the comment section and we will try to resolve them as early as possible. So guys, thank you so much for being with us and I wish you all the very best for your upcoming AWS Architect interview.